Someone I met outside the bathroom.
But why? But no. But what? Why?
Someone
Why?
I met at the concession stand. You gave him a big
I would
tip.
have been like, I saved his life. He was choking.
Give him a big tip. Simple.
Something.
Because when you say he says it's the best day of his life, and you say you met him in the bathroom,
Bruh.
a conversation needs to be had.
Good morning, my neighbors!
Damn! His mama named him Clay. I'ma call him Clay.
Mm-hmm. One band, one sound. Ricky!
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
I like the way you die, boy.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Wakanda forever!
All right, so welcome to WAP at the Movies. I am your host, Toju. That's right, WAP at the Movies, the Well Actually podcast at the movies. It's our series where we discuss, dissect, celebrate Black movies. Like I said, I'm your host, Toju, and I am joined by our first repeat guest, Jen. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. We have what I would consider a long movie, a long episode because of how quotable it is. So we're going to jump right in. All right. Oh, well, before we do that, let me remind everybody who's listening and watching on YouTube, you can now watch us on Spotify. Yes, the podcast is available to watch. Yes, video on Spotify. So wherever you're watching, listening, go ahead and give us a subscribe, like, or a review. Only 5-star reviews, please. Mm-hmm. All right. Today's episode, we are doing the 1988 comedy romance Coming to America.
Oh,
don't even get me started with that song. Like, is that even a song? Is it this? Is it score?
Yeah.
It's okay. All right. So our synopsis: an extremely pampered. Okay, go ahead.
The movie came out June 29th, 1988 on a Wednesday. You just gotta let the folks know.
Oh yeah, you did mention your connection to this.
My mommy was pregnant with me when she went to go watch the film.
Okay.
And then I believe I probably liked the film so much I had to shoot right out, you know?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now to the synopsis. Let's go.
All right.
An extremely pampered African prince travels to Queens, New York, and goes undercover to find a wife that he can respect for her intelligence and strong will.
No. Who wrote that?
That's not a synopsis?
But who wrote it?
The makers of the movie, or someone at IMDb that does reviews.
Yeah, somebody else wrote it because it couldn't be the makers of the movie.
All right. So the tagline: this summer, Prince Akeem discovers America.
Aha.
Is that accurate?
Of course.
Okay. All right. So now let's get to our cast. We of course have Eddie Murphy, who was in the middle of. I can't even describe what kind of run he was on. So he had The Golden Child in 1986, Beverly Hills Cop 2 in 1987.
Yep.
This movie in 1988, Harlem Nights in 1989, another 48 Hours in 1990. Then, of course, he had Nutty Professor after that, Dr. Dolittle, Mulan, Shrek, and just keeps going on and on and on and on.
This should have been on our Mount Rushmore.
It's funny enough. I actually thought about that after while I was doing the cast work for this, and Eddie Murphy has been since the early 80s. Yeah, he's been doing serious work. Yeah,
acting, singing. My girl likes to party all the time.
I don't know if we want to include the singing because I mean that song particularly is all right, but I'm not gonna disparage.
Was it his song and then his comedy special, Raw?
Raw and Delirious. Yep.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
All right, we have Arsenio Hall as Simi. He was also in Harlem Nights and, of course, the host of the Arsenio Hall show. We have James Earl Jones as King Jaffe Joffer. Of course, the voice of Darth Vader. The voice of Mufasa and Lion King. Field of Dreams, The Hunt for Red October. And the list is literally endless. I can't go through even a tenth of
Yep.
his accolades. So I'm just gonna cut those off to at least relatively close to the time that this movie was made.
Okay.
Then we have Madge Sinclair as the queen here,
Rest in
and say yes, rest in peace. Yes, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Gabriel's Fire, Lion King.
Yes.
So in total she co-starred with James Earl Jones on 5 different occasions, including Lion King, Gabriel's Fire, and a few other movies as well. We have John Amos as Cleo McDowell.
Mr. McDowell.
Yeah, from Good Times. He was also in Roots, and I just found another connection. He was in Dr. Dolittle 3.
Really?
Yeah, so even Eddie Murphy wouldn't touch that one, but he was like, you know what? I'll help Kyla Pratt out with this one. Since she was in Dr. Dolittle, yeah.
Okay.
We have Shari Headley as Lisa, and this was her first film.
She was also in was she in All My Children?
Yeah, she was in 226 episodes of All My Children.
Yep.
Yeah, she was a regular.
Tell my age.
We have Eric LaSalle.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like
ER.
Yeah, 171 episodes of ER. We have some ER DVDs back there.
Okay.
Yeah, box set. Yeah, he was in 171 episodes of ER. And I was wondering, like, how come I hadn't seen him like acting in a bunch of stuff lately? And it's because he's in the Dick Wolf universe as a director. So he has directed a couple episodes of Law and Order SVU, Law and Order Organized Crime, Chicago Justice, Chicago Med, Chicago PD, but not Chicago Fire. There are other bit characters like Louis Anderson, Samuel L. Jackson.
Your guy. Yeah.
He was, when he shows up, it definitely turns it's a turning point in the movie, I'll say.
That's the climax right there.
Yeah. So our director here is John Landis.
Yes.
He directed Animal House, Blues Brothers, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop 3, the video for Thriller, and the video for Black or White.
I was just talking about Black and White today with my coworkers.
See?
And I was making fun. What?
Wow. You were hey, see, synergy.
I'm a true clown at work, so you got to keep it entertaining.
Got you.
Okay.
All right. So the writers, we have David Sheffield and Barry Blaustein. So these two guys, what I found out was they were the two writers who did most of the writing for Eddie Murphy on SNL. So most of his sketches, they did the writing for Eddie. Okay. So they wrote with him on SNL, Nutty Professor 2, obviously this movie, and Coming to America. So this movie had a $30 million budget.
Okay.
Does that seem believable for 1988?
Did you see the set?
Yeah, most of it was shot in New York.
New York, but the behind, like the Zamunda, like them elephants, and he had to get Paula Abdul.
That was
choreographed.
It was like painted set design. It wasn't. Yeah.
But did you see the set? How much time it probably took?
Don't even get me started on the elephants. Yeah. All right. All right. So $30 million budget.
All right.
And apparently, Arsenio Hall was paid $900,000 for this movie.
Oh, all them roles that he played too?
Yeah, $900,000. Eddie Murphy was paid $8 million plus 15% of the rentals.
Wow, yeah. He couldn't just dash like $100K to my boy Arsenio.
Hey, remember this was before the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah, but without Semi, that move. Okay, keep going. You could have just dashed a little,
So yeah, 30 million budget, and our box office info we have, it did 128.2 million domestic, 288.8 worldwide.
Ooh.
It was the highest grossing film of 1988.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, you see?
And it was an R-rated movie. So put that in let that be put in perspective as well.
Ooh.
It was an R-rated movie and was the highest grossing movie that year.
All right.
Let's see. Now our Rotten Tomato scores. You want to guess?
They're probably gonna give it like a 69 or 71.
Close. The critic score was 73% on 55 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
The audience score, do you have a guess on that?
84.
Wow. It was 85%. 85%. Yeah. Okay. And before I go into the reviews, just a quick reminder, go ahead and leave us a nice review. Matter of fact, it doesn't even have to be a nice review. Just in the reviews, as long as it's 5 stars, give us a suggestion on what movie you want us to do next. And remember, it just has to be a black movie.
Black film.
Remember that. This is a series dedicated to black movies. And I think this might be the blackest non-Tyler Perry movie ever. Because there are literally only 3 characters in the entire movie who are white who have speaking parts. And each of them have, except Louis Anderson, the other 2 have 1 scene each. That's it. All right. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, okay, Louis, you have the lady at the teller, the Western Union, and then the cab driver. He was wasn't he a comedian or something, the cab driver?
Yeah, I believe he was a comic. Yeah. I'll give you a story about why Louis was in the movie.
Okay.
All right. So on to our positive reviews. And at some point you will hear these reviews and you won't know if they're positive or negative.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just
okay.
So you'll know when you hear it. So the first one is from TV Guide. That already lets you know it's a throwback.
Yeah.
Murphy gives his sweetest, most touching, and most genuinely likable performance to date, playing a character who embraces society instead of holding it in contempt. I think that's pretty fair. James Kendrick of Q Network Film Desk. Murphy shows genuine range in Coming to America and a willingness to sacrifice some raunch for some sweetness.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I like that review.
Okay, Brad Laidman of Film Threat. Eddie Murphy does everything in this movie successfully, which was probably a bad idea because it made him think he could write and direct Harlem Nights.
He didn't like Harlem Nights?
His name is Brad Laidman. What do you think?
Not with our Della Reese.
All right. The next one is from Eric Meyerson of filmcritic.com.
Okay.
So brilliant, it almost makes up for The Golden Child.
I'm gonna need you to find like a review by one of us. I don't know how you're gonna look because you know the last names, but we need to find a review by one of us.
All right. This is the last positive one.
That was a positive one.
Yeah, these are all positives. These are all positives.
Okay.
And James Sanford of the Kalamazoo Gazette.
Kalamazoo.
Yes, Michigan.
I got a friend from Kalamazoo though.
Yeah. Murphy's last enjoyable film before a long slump.
Wow. Well, you know what? I mean, after that, I really didn't. No. So he had Dr. Dolittle. Didn't really like that much.
Yeah. So after this was Harlem Nights, then Another 48 Hours, then Nutty Professor, then Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah.
Then he voiced Mushu in Milan, and then the first Shrek.
I'm not gonna I'm gonna put the animation and all that stuff aside. Yeah. Because that's not him. I mean, it's him.
You agree?
Yeah.
All right.
I agree. All right.
Now the negative reviews.
Okay.
From Mike Massey from Gone with the Twins. Nonstop jokes are intended to keep the audience entertained, but many are overwhelmingly immature or simply not that funny.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I take it you do not agree.
It was comical.
Okay. Dwayne Burge of Hollywood Reporter. This comedy is generally tame and sappy. What we get is homogenized Eddie Murphy, drained of his kinetic comic charm and smiling sass.
I don't even understand it. Next. I don't even understand it. What are you trying to say? Next. He's an actor. He has range.
All right. This one is from Kathy Burke of the United Press International. Oh boy. Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy and directed by John Landis, takes a lame idea and some very talented comedic actors and manages to avoid a complete disaster, but just barely. So she's saying it was a disaster, just not a complete disaster.
She should. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know where these people are now. And I'm a saved woman, so I'm not gonna say anything. Okay. I'd like to know their favorite movies.
All right. Vincent Cambio of New York Times, and this is the last one.
All right.
A screenplay that seems to have escaped its doctors before it was entirely well.
You're gonna need to get reviews from your viewers. You know what I mean? Like people who actually watch the movie and get some real, like a real review. I don't like their negative reviews don't even make sense.
I am sweating right now.
It doesn't even make sense.
All right. That was intense. Okay. So before we get into the movie, I just want to remind everybody that this is a rated R movie. So this episode is going to be relatively rated R because of a lot of the quotes. If you are offended by language like that, I don't know
Cover
what
your
to
ears.
tell you. Yeah, cover your ears or read the subtitles. I don't know. All right. We start with the title sequence, and we're descending through a valley. And what song is playing, Jen?
You know, got all the like random
Wow,
sounds.
yes, they got all the animals in there. And this might be a hot take, but I feel like this movie did a lot of damage to how Africans were perceived for a while in America.
You thought damage?
Absolutely, because while there is opulence in one hand, there is a certain level of primitiveness that they showed Africans with in another side. And I know it's supposed to be just jokes, but
you got to tell me which parts.
They would make themselves very apparent at some point.
You got to tell me which parts.
Oh no, it's okay. That's why I got these quotes.
This is one of the films before 2000 ish that actually showed Africans, like, no shade, with clothes. They have money, even more money than Americans. You know, we weren't enslaved. It wasn't your name is Kunta.
But they made a lot of Kunta jokes though.
It wasn't Semi or Akeem.
They were made at their expense.
Yes, but I'm saying take the movie aside as a black, like you're a Black American, Caribbean American, African American in America or London, because you're talking about overseas, and you're watching this, you actually see on film, a motion picture, that there's African families that actually have things that westernized families have.
Okay.
Because think about all the other movies that were playing before. No. That were like,
I'm not talking about like from.
No, I'm talking about that in the movie.
Yeah, I'm talking about the how it made the discussion go amongst Black people who weren't like, the continent, and that's what I'm saying.
In the movie,
I don't care about what them other folks are saying. Nah.
In the movie, I was like, oh.
All right, so we pan into the palace, and every time I was taking notes, I was trying to write Oma, and it kept giving me Omaha. So yeah, like going to Omaha. So he walks into a chamber with what looks like a mini orchestra, and it's waiting in the bedroom. And then he opens a cabinet and sees the clock there at 7:59, about to turn 8 o'clock. And then he gives a signal to the orchestra, and they play some very soothing classical music. That's Prince Hakim's alarm clock. It seems.
That is amazing.
Like it's waking him from slumber in such a non-traumatic way. Not an alarm clock that sounds like a fire alarm.
That's how I want to wake up.
with a large orchestra just in your bedroom.
I just want to rise like him.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine what the pillows and the mattress felt like.
Can you imagine? Yeah, like he slept well. Like, you don't have to ask him, did you sleep well, my son? No, I know.
All right, so we get through 3 rose bearers who greet him, good morning, your highness. The first one is Garcelle Beauvais. Yes,
fancy from Jane Fox show.
Yeah, and that surprisingly, that was not her first film role. She had been in a couple things before this, but I guess this was the highest, the one with the highest caliber.
Of course.
Yeah, So every time we get a clap, and a servant brings out some slippers,
Yes.
another clap, servant puts on the robe, one more clap, and then the rose bearers start dropping the rose petals on the floor. We get to another door, a clap, the servant opens the door, and then that's where we get like the little walk and talk of Prince Hakeem saying, "It's my 21st birthday. Don't you think I should be able to go to the bathroom by myself?"
And Ohana's like,
I was
be
like,
real.
he's like, yeah. Oh, he's like, what? Let me see what he said exactly. It's like,
He
that's
goes, eyebrows.
no, he's like, that's like he was amused. He was amused, like amusing. Wipers, and then claps again.
That's right. And then even when they're brushing his teeth, like,
Oh no, we haven't even got to that scene.
oh my god.
So the funniest part about this movie is when I was trying to find a place to watch it, I had to like sign up for some app, and the scene I'm about to describe, they actually cut it out completely.
Yeah, because if you watch it on BET back in the day, you would never see this part.
Yeah, so they cut it out. So when I was taking the notes, I'm like, no, something is missing.
Yeah.
It doesn't just go from that to, so I had to find another place to watch it.
Just buy the DVD. I got the DVD.
Where am I going to find DVDs right now? Unless I go on eBay, because Best Buy doesn't sell DVDs anymore.
Oh
man!
Like
literally, they made a big announcement that they're not selling DVDs anymore.
Damn, what's this world gonna do?
You got to be all digital. Piracy. Okay. Moving on. I am not suggesting anything. I just had something in my throat.
It's okay.
So we see Prince Hakeem sitting in what looks like an infinity pool, and we have a topless woman who is sponging him down.
Mm-hmm.
And after what seems like 10 to 15 seconds, another topless woman emerges, and in one of the most iconic lines in cinema history, she says, "The royal penis is clean, Your Highness."
That's culture right there. Snoop Dogg done used it.
Luda has used it.
That is iconic. And
then he lets out a very deep sigh. And I'm like, what? Okay, this must be your life. All right.
It was his birthday though.
Yeah.
It was his 21st birthday. So
21st birthday. So
it's rated R.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Prince Hakeem.
But that's so if you go by what happens later, like that's a daily occurrence for him. Yeah, that is a daily occurrence.
It is like that part, but when he left off that sigh, you don't know what happened that day.
Yeah, but again, that was not a sigh of satisfaction. That is a sigh of
Don't
worry, we won't get bogged down in this.
Yeah, I say this is rated R.
Yeah. So now another servant comes up and brushes his teeth for him, and I mean literally
brushes his teeth.
Another uses a towel to dab the side of his lips.
You want to know what's stupid? When I was younger,
what was that?
I thought that I can gargle my mouth like doing that.
It's
you see?
Yeah, they are trying to show us opulence. So yeah, we have.
I was fooled when I was like 11.
They got you. So, yeah, we have one servant massaging his throat while he gargles. When he spits out, another one dabs the side of his mouth again.
That's life.
He gets dressed and the rose bearers walk out again. Then we get some exposition about how the prince turning 21 means he gets to see his wife to be. And Hakeem says, how can he get excited about a woman he's never met? And I said, oh, this is me talking out. I think Prince Hakeem would have loved Instagram. Now we're at the breakfast table. Yes. And I would say the breakfast table is literally a football field long.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
It was beautiful. Eat that. Feed the children commercial.
I don't know what to say to that.
That's what I want to say. You think there's no food in Africa?
But there's the reason why there are so many hungry children is because of this kind of opulence, though. I don't.
They took all the food.
Yes,
they took all the food. Oh my god.
Okay, so we're back to the football field size table.
Yeah.
Prince Hakeem is on one side, king and queen on the other, and all I can say is that the table was so long it required an intercom. That's not an exaggeration.
No, it's you're dead
Yeah,
serious. That's serious.
yeah. So they remarked about how sad and quiet he looks.
And how? I wanted to. I like how.
Yeah,
She's
she
on the
did,
other end, and but how? You can't even see.
but that's the mother though. She just looked and she could tell something was wrong.
Why aren't you sitting next to your son on his birthday?
So then that's when it gets very interesting. So King Jaffy says, "I am more than the exalted ruler of this land, master of all I survey. I am also a concerned dad."
Also talking right there.
Yeah. So he like, so as Akeem wants to respond, he's like, "This is too much. I'm just going to get up and walk
After
down."
21 years, he realizes that this
Yeah.
is too much.
And it seemed like there was no protocol in place for him coming to the other side.
No, because ain't no.
Everybody's scrambling. The king stands up and he's like, "Rose bearers," and they like hustle to get in front of him so that they could drop roses at his feet.
Yeah.
And while he's walking to the side of the table, we see elephants walking in the background. I'm like, okay, that's strike two.
What was strike one?
All the animals that we saw at the beginning. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'll tell you strike three. All right.
See, this is how we were on Training Day when you thought Denzel was like off the charts.
Yeah, and then you eventually agreed
at the end. This hasn't even been a strike. We haven't even reached a strike yet.
Okay.
All
right. So he gets to his parents and then King Jaffe says, "Wow, you've grown a mustache." And the queen says, "It's been a year." So much for being a concerned father. And he says one of the things he's uneasy about is the rose petals. And
oh yeah.
And he says, you're the son of a king. Why shouldn't you walk on rose petals?
Yes.
And said, if there were no rose petals, I would still be the son of a king.
True.
And says, it's settled. From this day forth, anyone who throws rose petals at my son's feet will answer to me.
Will have to answer to me.
And you just see the rose bearers just like slowly backing away out of the room. Yep. Okay. So he says that he like the cooking and the cleaning and
the bathing. Actually, I'd rather enjoy the bathing, but just for...
And you can see the look on James Earl Jones's face. It just had this Cheshire Cat look. It was just like, that's what I said, that there's some perviness that comes out of him.
Well, wait till the other scene because you'll find out what happens.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So he said, why can't I find my own wife?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, King says, well, because we basically have someone who from the day she was born was basically groomed to serve you.
Yes. Wow. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if your parents did that?
Imagine it for her.
For her, she doesn't know any better. She doesn't know anything else. So you don't even know what kind of lifestyle that she had, living a life of inside and I'm going to be the upcoming king's wife.
Not even the upcoming king, just Akeem.
Akeem's going to be the king.
Yeah, just everything has to be tailored to him, not to like royalty in general. You are basically you've been bred specifically for him.
I mean,
and not in a romantic way either. This feels oddly
scientific. But look at the mom. But look at okay, keep going.
Okay. So all right. So the king and queen talk about how nervous and frightened they were before the marriage. The king says he was nervous. The queen says she was on the verge of nausea. And King Jaffe says, because you see, my son,
there is a very fine line between love and nausea.
And the queen gives him this irritated look.
Yes.
And then she looks, and then she does a double take. Like, wait, what did you say?
What did you say? Yeah. But I feel like they've grown to love each other over the years, even though their marriage was arranged.
Yeah, but you can see, like,
yeah.
Okay. How can a woman say she loves me if she doesn't know who I am? It says it's not because of who you are. And the king asks him, "Who are you?" And it says, "I'm a man who has never tied his own shoes."
Wrong.
And again, wrong. You are a prince who has never tied his own shoes.
That's true.
And believe me, I tied my shoes once. It's an overrated experience. Now that is a flex. That is a flex. He says, "I have tied my shoes once, and it's an overrated experience."
They should have done a prequel to this movie to find out his story. I know his life might have been. I would watch that.
His life would have been dirty. That's the best way to describe it.
I need to see what happened before and how he got to become a king. I need to see that background story.
Yeah, because we don't see any of his siblings or anything. We
He didn't have siblings.
So are the kings just only children?
I don't know. We need to call another director.
Okay.
After this, send this to them. We need to call them. We need a
Or
another.
you want to talk to one of the writers?
I mean, you know what? I might email.
Okay.
I might need to.
All right, I'll let you reach out to them and
will.
see what comes back.
Okay.
All right, then we get introduced to Semi, played by Arsenio
Arsenio
Hall.
Hall. Semi.
And then he showers the queen with compliments, talking about he was talking to his mom about how her skin looks. And the king says, "Don't you have somewhere to go?" He says, "Oh yes, I have to take the birthday boy on his daily workouts." So now they walk away, and Semi asks, "What happens to the rose bearers?" Like, even he's used to that opulence.
Yes.
So then we have a little stick to stick combat. That's not even a euphemism.
Yeah, okay.
No, but it's supposed to set them up for the scene later on.
But that might have been strike one.
The stick to stick combat?
Yeah, we play with sticks. We can't play with like swords. We can't fence.
Hey, who knows what kind of budget they had for the stunt directors, okay?
They had $30 million.
Yeah, and more than a quarter of that went to Eddie.
They should have, because like they're playing with sticks. Like, I mean, they couldn't fence. They couldn't do anything else. Sticks.
I mean, I'm not even, I guess, to make it more believable when it's because like how is he so proficient when it comes to what he ends up doing later on? Yeah.
He's a prince. We don't need to ask those questions.
Yeah, but princes, as he's shown already, are pretty useless. Other than that, we'd think he was completely useless. If he's never tied his own shoes, how are we supposed to know that he's capable in a physical altercation?
Okay.
So, as I said, we have a little stick to stick combat, and Semi's in disbelief that he says, "Why you have a woman who will obey your every command, but you'd rather have a woman who has an opinion?"
You gotta do the action. It's like they're fighting. You gotta understand, like they're fighting at this moment.
Yeah. And he said, only dogs obey. What you want in a wife is someone who you value her opinion. And I thought to myself, is Prince Hakeem a feminist? And then we get more flips. And then he said, this is a classic line. We get from him. Semi says, "Hippopotamus shit. You're the heir to the throne of Zamunda. Your wife need only have a pretty face, a firm backside, and big breasts like cassava melons." I was like, okay, I need to look up cassava melons. Let's know exactly what we're talking about.
But in my head, as he was saying, I was picturing, I was like, "Oh, Miss Lolo."
Hey, he was the precursor to the BBL phase, I guess. I don't know. He was already like putting it out there.
This was natural.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, they were in the motherland, so yeah.
Miss Lolo.
Hey, we're getting there. So now Eddie Murphy, or should I say his stunt double, did about 10 backflips, and then he disarms Semi and says, "You would share your bed and your life with a beautiful fool." And Semi unwittingly gives us some very interesting commentary. He says, "It's the way it's always been for men with power. It is tradition." And Hakeem says to him, "And as usual with tradition, times must always change."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, they are really giving us quite the character development in that brief scene. So now we're supposed to be at I guess what is supposed to be the royal engagement party.
Yes.
And there's someone hawking t-shirts outside. and by t-shirt I mean either kente cloth or whatever kind of African attire with Prince Hakeem's face on it.
Do you know where kente cloth comes from?
Isn't it from your people?
I just wanted you to say that.
Yes, that's your people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen it being made?
No, I haven't actually seen it being made. No.
Oh, it's a whole process.
Is it like
it's very intricate, very large spools, and how they make it, and the men and how they're weaving it. But now they have like new styles. So those designs, I'm not saying they're fading, but now they have all of these new designs. So amazing to watch.
Oh, okay.
So amazing to see. Yeah.
Okay. So now, we have the cloth with Prince Hakeem's face on it.
Mm-hmm.
More elephants lining up. Were they as were they as valets or something? I don't know, but they were just lining up. I'm trying to understand what they were doing there.
Go park my elephant.
Yeah, they were just like right out front. I'm like, I don't know if that should be a strike right there, but I'm like, okay.
That wasn't a strike. That wasn't a strike.
Yeah.
Again, I'm glad you have your perspective because I was like, wow. Mind you, I'm only talking as someone who has watched it as a child and has grown to love it. So
no, I get you. Right. So the guests are walking in.
You see their outfits?
Yeah, it was.
Ooh.
Like they did a decent job.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so the costume designer, I think I don't know if the costume designer and set designer were the same, but the person who was in charge of a lot of that was John Landis, the director, his wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she had a lot to do with it. So she did reasonably well.
She did.
Because I guess they also didn't want to copy specifically just one country, seeing as it's supposed to be a fictional country.
Because even some of the Deborah. Oh yeah, and she did the oh no, yeah. I mean, I love the costumes. I loved it.
All right, so Colonel Izzy steps forward to offer his daughter to Prince Hakeem.
Oh, Vanessa Bell Calloway.
And King Jaffe graciously accepts on his behalf. And then a woman comes forward who basically startled Hakeem, but that woman was the one coming to announce.
She started the whole audience.
Yeah, and,
out of my way.
And he let out a deeper sigh than the one he let out in the pool. He's like, now this was real relief. You see, you can see the difference between the sighs. So, and they introduced the traditional dancers, and they come out, and and according to the trivia, that was actually an up-tempo variation of the Thriller dance.
Now you're gonna have me watching Thriller and Coming to America side by side.
Yeah, so really? you can yeah, so it's a lot faster. Yeah.
Oh, you know, I try to memorize the choreography for that.
For Thriller?
No, for
this one?
America, yeah.
Oh no, I think that, you know what? Let me not bash Fleem. I was gonna say this one might have been harder than the Thriller dance.
No, this is definitely harder. You have
because there was a lot of flipping and upside down. Yeah,
I tried. I always thought when I was a little girl that my wedding would look like that. I would have the dancers and Paul Bates
and the elephants outside.
No.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Can get them in New Jersey if I need it. I mean,
well, it could happen in New Jersey. You don't think so?
It can. I wasn't thinking that far. I just thought about the dancers and the singer. That's it.
Okay.
All
right. So then Oha sees his time to shine.
She's your queen to be, a queen to be forever, a queen who'll do whatever His Highness desires. She's your queen to be, a vision of perfection, an object of affection to quench your royal fire, completely free from infection, to be used at your discretion, waiting only for your direction, your queen to be.
I mean, if that was her purpose, then that song was appropriate.
Completely free from infection.
You want to marry somebody with infection now?
I'm saying, did that need to be included to the general public? I mean, okay, yeah, that just felt a little overboard, but hey, they do things differently in Zamunda.
That could have been a strike. I'm surprised you didn't say that was a strike.
I mean, once they already told us she was basically bred for him, none of this really. None of this really. So Hakeem and the queen to be excuse themselves from the Great Hall, and they walk into a separate room. So he asked her, "What do you like? What kind of music do you like?
What type
Whatever
of
music
music
you like. What kind of food is your favorite food? Whatever's your favorite food." Like, and he's like, "I command you not to obey me."
No.
Says, no. Like, are you saying no matter what I ask you to do, you will obey? He says, "Yes, Your Highness." Like, bark like a dog.
Ruff, ruff.
And then at that point, he breaks the fourth wall and like stares directly into the camera.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then he's like, "A bigger dog."
Woof, woof.
Says,
Woof.
"Hop on one leg."
Woof,
And starts hopping.
and she's hopping, she's
And
barking.
says, "Make a noise like a orangutan." And she's like, "Woof, woof." And while she's just hopping on one leg, King Joffrey walks in. Says, "Ah, I see you two are getting along." What do you mean they're getting along? You walk in and see this, and like they're getting along.
Yes, because because King knows that she will do whatever Akeem says. So obviously, he probably did the same thing with his mom. Like, nah, I need to know if this is true.
So he says, "Excuse us for a moment," and then she hops out of the room.
And she goes, ooh, ooh.
She's still hopping out the room.
Let me tell her outfit, her hair. Do you remember the gold gown, the train, the kinky weave that they had in her hair with the gold ponytail to oh my god, oh my gosh, that was Black excellence. And it looks so beautiful on her.
All right, so Oha comes in and says the guests are waiting. Waiting.
Let me do it. Let them wait.
I'm talking to my son, okay? And then they say, "Let's go for a stroll." And then while they're outside, we see a zebra go by, and then two elephants, and he stops to pet one, and he says, "Hello, Babar."
Yes.
Okay, I'm like, okay, that has to be a strike.
How?
Babar?
You're really thinking deep into this movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking because it opened up a whole land of like, while it shows opulence and it's always, oh, this is the Africa they don't show you. It's like, yeah, a lot of that is at the expense of others. It's 1% is 1% everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it better because it's being done by Africans. Anyway,
you really didn't watch the movie just to enjoy the movie.
Oh no, I watched it 3 times.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it with the WAP lens now. That's what I need to do. I need to go watch the movie.
Yeah, put on the WAP lens. Exactly.
I probably would take it off for this film. I'd wear it for all the other ones.
All right. So now they're walking, and the king asks him, like, he says, "She will give you so much pleasure. Don't worry." And he's like, "No, I don't think I'm ready." And the king says, "I don't know if I've asked you this, but have you been having sex with your bathers? Because I know I have." I'm like, what?
I was like, wow.
And I'm like, now do you see why that sigh was not a satisfied sigh?
I was like, wow.
And he was just like, he and it wasn't even that
and
he knows
that smirk that James Earl Jones did.
Yeah, and he said not that he knows that he does.
He does. It doesn't stop. It continues.
No.
And I'm like, wow. When I was younger, I didn't know what happened. As I got older, I was like, he is cheating on his wife.
But that's the thing. It's not seen as cheating, apparently.
This is a whole other for another day.
Hey, I'm not even dipping my toe into that pool.
I was like, wow. I mean, and you gotta show the clip of his face too. Dirty old man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just put his face with no context. No, no words, just the face.
Yeah.
Hakeem said he has never left Zamunda and hasn't experienced what the outside world has to offer.
Oh,
and the king says he believes Hakeem wants to sow his royal oats. And says it's settled. King goes back into the hall and tells everyone the wedding will proceed in 40 days. Prepare the baggage. His son is going on a trip.
Can you imagine? Like to Vanessa? And after you've been hopping and barking like a dog to find out.
I mean, have you seen Coming to America?
I saw I only saw it one time because I thought it was trash. It took me 3 days to watch it because I fell asleep each time.
The best gag of that is she was still hopping in the same outfit.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, that's the most memorable part, is that she was still hopping.
Oh,
in that same outfit.
Is that in the beginning or the end of the movie?
I don't remember what specifically, because I've only seen it once.
I'm just gonna fast forward to that part.
It's not as memorable as this one.
That. Oh wow.
Yeah. Right. So
That's not even funny. That is not funny.
it's
I'm not laughing.
he gave an order. Remember, is what you said.
I'm not laughing.
What 30 something years later, still hopping? Not cool, huh? See? Like once you start there, you have to go all the way.
Damn.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Damn.
Yeah. So now they're trying to decide where they're gonna go.
Oh, this is my part.
Enos and Semi are talking about how America's so vast. Where could they go? And they say heads for New York, tails for Los Angeles. It's heads. All right, where would a king go to find a wife in New York? And like obviously Queens. And
I felt like they were like, okay, with all of the money, with all of the elegance, with all of the training, are you that dumb?
again, he has no external exposure.
Are you that? I don't care if you don't have external. I've never been to Singapore, right? But I know it exists. You understand? Like like they made the prince like dumb, like at some parts, because some parts in the movie he's quoting philosophy, right? And then like, how do you not know?
It just means he's book smart.
In a book, you didn't know there was New York that existed.
No, he knew New York existed. He knew Los Angeles existed.
Well, but I felt like that whole scene made them feel like, to me, you're gonna have to play it again. I'm gonna have to watch this movie again. Like, come on, guys.
So they're talking about how they want to be incognito, that Semi shouldn't tell anyone that he's a prince, and then they walk out a baggage claim with about 20 suitcases.
And look at the kind of suitcases that they're carrying.
I think Louis must have gotten their inspiration from this. And Akeem walks out in front of a cab and says, "Halt!"
Halt.
I'm trying not to curse here, so I won't repeat what the cab driver said.
You dumb.
And he says, "Take us to Queens at once."
It's like, nah.
So
a couple of nice guys like you.
Yeah, a couple nights. You should be staying in Manhattan, not Queens. You should be staying at the Waldorf or the Palace.
Look at Semi. Yes.
Yeah, he's like, yes.
Take us there at once.
And Akeem says, "No, take us to the most common part of Queens."
That's one thing that Queens got a lot
cab
of.
driver is like, okay, that's something that Queens has a lot of. And then I don't know if you noticed this, but when they're driving up to the apartment, the cab driver drives the wrong way up a one-way street just to make that turn. So look, I think they had just had a blizzard in New York. So he's like, I can't make it all the way around, so I'm just going up this place and dropping you off. Yeah. So he drops him off at the apartment, and it pulls up to the apartment and says, is this shitty enough for you? Akeem says, "It's perfect." And as he's looking around, there's so many shady characters, abandoned buildings, like, and then someone throws out trash from like a top floor. And he marvels at how this country is so free. You can throw glass on the streets. And then the barbershop, the famous barbershop, it wasn't until this viewing that I realized that the barbershop was at the bottom of their apartment building.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a separate set.
Nah, it was right there. It was right there. And Cuba Gooding Jr. was cutting his hair.
Yep. So at the barbershop, we see different versions of Eddie Murphy and
Arsenio, right?
And then one Arsenio, and then one other actor.
Yeah.
That's there as well. And then they're having a conversation about who's the baddest boxer of all time. And like you said, a young Cuba Gooding Jr. is getting a haircut. And then in the middle of that conversation, they get sidetracked about calling Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali. And they're like, if his mama call him Clay, I'm gonna call him Clay. So funny, when Eddie Murphy dressed up as the white guy there, he went around the lot that they were shooting on LA in that makeup, and speaking in his normal Eddie Murphy voice. Nobody believed it was him. Like they wouldn't grant him access. Yeah.
Of course not. Why would
he went to the other side of the lot? Like, yeah, like nope.
No, thank you. Jewish man sitting there.
Yeah. So the people that did the makeup for this movie, he took them along with him to do Nutty Professor and Norbit.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I would have taken them too. Yeah. They did a good job because you couldn't tell, even like except for the head barber, you can tell that was Eddie.
Yeah, that one.
But everyone, like even Arsenio and Sexual Chocolate.
We'll get there.
The makeup is great. Yeah.
All right. So they actually walk up to the apartment door. They knock, and the landlord is Frankie Faison.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "You better not be wasting my time." And Semi shows him a wad of money. And he says, well, come right in.
Right in.
And then as they walk in, all of the luggage gets stolen from the sidewalk.
Right. Not even 2 seconds.
Bruh,
Not even
the
2
door
seconds.
wasn't even closed yet,
The
and all
door-
that stuff was gone.
You just see people, come on, quick. I mean,
They said they were looking for meager accommodations. And he says, what? He says, I want a room that is very poor. Like, okay, all right. Just straight to the point. Like, he has no time for pretense.
oh,
And he says, well, you're in luck. And one of the residents rolls down the stairs, and the landlord says, don't try that falling down the stair crap. You do this like clockwork. I know you're conscious.
right. And he farts too. Like,
Yeah, I know you're conscious. So he says, well, welcome to the apartment. It says everybody on the floor has to share one bathroom.
that is crazy.
It says it has a bit of an insect problem, but you boys are from Africa, so you're used to that.
See, strike one. Strike one. You boys from Africa? Last time I checked, they just stole my luggage outside of your country. You're throwing glass in your. Let me not. So okay, they go to the apartment.
All right, so we get to the apartment, and I'm like, okay, this looks like a crime scene, and that's because it basically is a crime scene. Like they're taking off the police tape. There's a chalk line on the table on the floor, and said it's a shame what they did to that dog. What they did to that dog. And whoever doesn't know, that's
not even the man, the dog.
Yeah, the dog, because they had the chalk outline for the dog too. And there's a mouse the size of a dog running across the apartment, just back and forth, no place to hide. Just
Semi is just so disgusted.
He cannot take it, and Hakeem couldn't be happier. And he says, "We'll take it." And then Hakeem goes out on the balcony.
Good morning, my neighbors! Hey, fuck you! Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
All right, so now they're going back downstairs, and they see everyone on the street wearing different versions of their royal garb. And then someone even comes up to them to offer and sell it back. So they got 2 brushes. Oh my goodness! A golden blow dryer. As I said, opulence and is one side of the coin. The other side is
he's a prince of Zamunda. Why wouldn't he have a golden blow dryer?
They say they want to dress like New Yorkers. Like, we are New Yorkers. Let's dress like New Yorkers. And they get dressed up as touristy as any tourist has ever touristed.
Yes, from head to toe.
They have stickers on top of stickers, on top of buttons, on top of hats, on top of scarves.
Oh, gosh.
But the jackets were fire though.
They were. I was like, oh, I need to cop me one.
Yeah, that's going to cost you at least a couple $1,000s now.
Listen.
Something like that right now.
Listen, for coming to America.
Yeah. And then we see the Soul Glow commercial.
Just let your soul shine. Just let it shine through, yeah. Just let your soul glow. I should have had my little
you want to get nah
for this thing.
I thought about it. I thought about it, but I'm like, you know what? You don't mess with excellence.
You got the Hakeem going on.
Yeah, hey, all I need is a little rat tail now.
Little rat tail.
Yeah. All right, so he walks into the barbershop and says he wants to cut off his Prince lock. And they're still talking about more boxing arguments, talking about Joe Louis this and like. So he sits down on the chair and they ask him, what kind of chemicals you got in there? It's all natural, just juices and berries.
He want to say Negro, please.
It's like, yeah, that ain't nothing but yeah. They said, what should I do to your hair? And he said, just make it nice and neat.
Nice and neat.
And then just grabs the scissors, cuts the lock. And that'll be $8.
He debates about like,
yeah. And then now they're like, okay. He's like, I'm fresh now. I'm trying to go meet some women. So they hit the club, and 80s fashion was on full display.
Cool.
If you're gonna rewatch this, just while they're walking into the club, keep your eyes on everything to the left, and it's just people dancing like they were on the purest of coke. I'm talking about like uncut. It hasn't been stepped on, like real blue magic, and they are just. Oh man, they knew that it was their time to shine, and they were dancing their ass.
They had a time. I wanted to be at
the So Hakeem sits down next to a woman who seems nice enough, and then she volunteers. I got a secret.
I worship the devil.
Wow.
That's like just off the bat, just no hello, no hi, just. I was like, okay. And then the next woman, she's.
See, that's the problem. I can't find a man that can satisfy me. Now, some guys go hour and a half. That's it. A man's got to put in overtime for me to get off.
In the middle of all this, I can just picture Prince Hakeem popping balloons, just like after each one comes out. The next woman says,
I'm not interested in a man unless he drives a BMW.
Yeah, well, you know, baby, I'm almost single. My husband's on death row.
This is the first date Teresa and I have been on since the doctor separated us.
I'm into the group thing. Yeah.
I was Joan of Arc in my former life.
My name is Peaches, and I'm the best. All the DJs want to feel my breast.
And then finally we get Arsenio Hall dressed as a woman.
And your friend too.
Arsenio does a spit take. He does a spit take, and it's like, okay, no, we got to leave. So they walk out, and they're like walking back towards the barbershop, and they see the old barber, and like they're looking for a nice woman, and they've been to every bar in Queens. And it's like, oh yeah, that's the problem right there. You can't find a good woman there. You need to go to quiet places like church or a library.
But isn't that true? You can't find a woman at the club.
The advice has not changed in 30 years.
It has not changed.
Yeah, find it in church or library, or conveniently at the Black awareness rally that's going down. I'm going to right now. Like the place I'm going to right now. Let's go.
There's gonna be a lot of good Black women over there.
And there's a Black awareness rally. There's a Black awareness pageant going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the preacher who's doing all that, that's Arsenio Hall, obviously being played by Arsenio Hall. And the first thing I wanted to say about the pageant contestants who never actually compete, like we never see them again, is the bikinis they are wearing. It's like 80s fashion.
Yes,
was
raw.
Yeah, I think that's the. I'm not going to use any other word beyond that. And he tells them to turn around.
Turn around.
That Larry Flint and Hugh Hefner can take pictures, but they can't create. That comes from God above. I'm like, are you turning this into a sermon?
Anytime, anywhere.
Are you turning this into a sermon? And then after that, they go off stage and it's like, I want to introduce Mr. Randy Watson. And he comes on and they give it up for my band, Sexual Chocolate.
And no one's clapping.
No, one person is clapping. One of the barbers.
One of the barbers.
That's his biggest fan.
I believe the children are our future. Thank you.
And then eventually they talk about how none of this could be possible without Cleo and Lisa McDowell. And then she comes up and talks about so as she's about to go up, like, see if you can work in our new salad into her speech. Like, bro, I'm not mentioning the restaurant at all. What are you talking about? So she goes up there and she's talking, like, asking them for donations. And then I
like what she says, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we
appreciate everything. We rather get the
yes, we appreciate the money that jingles,
but we rather get the kind
of one that folds. I'm like, that's a bar right there.
Wow,
that is a bar right there.
Wow. Did we miss the part where Semi goes like, it's like the best women in Queens, just pick one and let's go?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So no, that's when they were all on. That's when they were all
on stage.
Like, these are the best ones. Like he's like, bro, like we came here to be thorough. Like, we're not just gonna
pick one and go.
And that's why I said Semi. His horny levels are astronomical at this point. He just sees 6 women in bikinis.
He was over it. It was at the club. He was tired. They stole all his stuff. He's in meager accommodations. He's like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Bump your 40 days. We're going.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is what was this, day 2? Or no, was it even day 1?
This was still day 1 because he got the haircut.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the club. Which I don't understand how you go to the club and then you still got this Black awareness thing still going on.
Hey, I mean,
they might have went to the club early. Early.
And maybe that was the issue. You go to the club at 7:00. You what you get is what you get.
Yep. They went to the club early, and then because he was closing his shop, something around 8:00, and it seems like the pageant it was almost finished.
Yeah.
And so okay, still same night.
So now they're passing around the donation bucket. One of the barbers tries to drop chicken in there. They tried to drop a chicken bone in there. He's like, "Oh no, my bad! I thought it was the trash." I'm like, bro, it's donations. Eric LaSalle, Daryl, we see him for the first time, and they pass him the donation bucket, and he just passes it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to. This is not like a Drumline or anything where you have you're not sure if he's the bad guy or not. This one, they made it apparent from the beginning.
From the beginning,
you are not to like this
face. Even when he was sitting there drinking, he was like,
yeah.
So you already know. Ooh, you already know.
Yep, they're like no redeeming qualities at all.
At all, nothing.
None whatsoever.
He just had a nice smile.
Even that was
nice.
That was nice for the 80s. His smile got better on ER. Smile was better. He grew into it.
You're looking at him as a doctor who saves lives.
I'm looking at him as someone that's no longer scrawny.
You thought he was scrawny back then?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I thought he was
man. This was 6 years before ER.
Black man on Coming to America. He's tall, nice smile. He bagged Lisa. Lisa had to see something in him.
Yeah, because he like they mentioned before, he bagged the father first. That was all it really took. The donation bucket gets to Akeem, and he tells Semi to drop some money inside. So Semi just hands him the money clip. He takes off the clip and drops the whole bundle in there.
Which is wild because I'm like, where did you get that money from? Because they stole all your stuff.
No, but that just tells you what they have is walking around money. And we see a little bit more of that explained later on. Well, not explained, like there's an expression of it later on that we see what their walking around money is. Like if that was taken out of, if all their suitcases were gone,
where were they holding that wad of cash? Where were they holding it? Them jackets must have been thick.
And it had many pockets.
Because he had
many deep pockets.
He had rent money, grocery money, insurance.
I don't think there was anything about insurance. What about that apartment screamed insurance to you?
No, I'm talking about the amount of money he had. I'm talking for our day and age.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like he got renter's insurance.
No. Give your viewers and listeners he had a whole rack.
Yeah, no, it was.
And he wasn't even looking. He was like, dump it in. Just throw it in the bag.
Like you get questioned by police for having that much cash.
I know he had to declare that customs.
Yeah. I mean, but he was a diplomat, technically.
He was.
I don't think he had to declare anything at that point. All right, so now let's see. Somehow, some way, Akeem and Semi get jobs at McDowell's, and and Cleo is giving them some exposition about what their jobs are going to be, and then we see a guy taking a picture outside, taking a picture of their logos. And he's like, yeah, me and McDonald's have a bit of a misunderstanding. And something funny in the trivia is that John Amos worked at the very first McDonald's that opened in Canada. He actually worked there at some point.
He's Canadian?
No, he's from Jersey. John Amos from Jersey. He was born in Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
No wonder I like him.
No, John Amos was born in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, so he played a little bit in the NFL and then the Canadian Football League. Yeah.
All right, so we are at the part where he's now working at McDowell's.
Mm-hmm.
He got a job there.
Mm-hmm.
Louis Anderson. That's when we are introduced to Louis. What show is he on? Oh my gosh!
On Family Feud.
Oh, the animated one.
Bobby's
World.
Bobby's World. Yeah. It's funny. They had him on as a member of the cast because the studio's like, we have to have one white comedian in there. Like literally.
He only had.
He had a bunch of scenes. Not a lot of lines.
Like going to the restaurant a little bit more. Yeah.
So he always showed up there.
Yeah.
And then we get a little exposition as to why we're not supposed to like Daryl, Lisa's boyfriend. Like when they're giving him the milkshake from someone else's tray, and he
takes it from poor Louis.
Akeem goes to the barbershop and to talk to the barber about how, like, it says in order to get women in America, barber tells him you have to go directly to the father.
You gotta go to the dad. It's not only women in America, it's women. If their father or a manly figure is around, you gotta go to the daddy.
Yeah, and I'm like, good old patriarchy.
The family
showing up again. We're back at McDowell's, and so he's trying to use the advice that he gets from the barber.
Mm-hmm.
He's mopping and whatever in the office.
The Giants of New York took on the Packers of Green Bay, and in the end, the Giants triumphed by kicking an oblong ball made of pigskin to a big H. It was a most ripping victory.
Son, I'm just gonna tell you this one time.
Yes, sir.
You want to keep working here. Stay off the drugs.
Yes, sir.
Lay off the drugs, son.
Lay off the drugs. So
You
he
lucky
comes
he
out
didn't
and he
get fired.
sees, and so he sees Lisa and Patrice. So Lisa introduced Patrice to them, and they invite him to the double date for the college basketball game. So when they're in the state, like they were actually at Madison Square Garden for that. I'm just happy they didn't show like fake players playing. It was just real basketball there. And Patrice tells him, take off his jacket, and I was like, okay, where's this going? So he puts the jacket on his lap, and as soon as he does that, Patrice's hand goes on his lap.
Woo!
And I was like, okay, she is giving him a hand hug.
America.
And he's like, and at halftime he jumps up and he's like, what are you doing? Like, this is halftime. It's like, no, this is my favorite part.
But he's not used to that.
Not in public, I'm guessing, and especially not next to the woman he's trying to be with.
Yes, because I mean, I'm bad that you were getting Hakeem in.
Maybe that's the thing. He's not used to getting it with his clothes on. That might be the issue. So so he excuses himself and he gets in line for the bathroom, and one of the concessionaires sees him.
Oh,
and he's like, I knew it was you, and he drops to his knees. It's like, I'm a loyal citizen of Zamunda. It's like, oh, this is the best day of my life. I was like, damn. Like, bro, that is very, very thirsty. So that is Vonda Curtis Hall. That was his very first acting role ever. He was the boss in The Recruit, one of the new Netflix shows. The black guy that has like a lot of white hair. What else was he in? He was in Broken Arrows and Falling Down. He was in Waist Deep also. So he's been in a lot of black movies, a lot of black TV shows, and he was the reporter in the Netflix version of Daredevil TV show. So but this was his very first role. He's like,
did you see the camera that he pulled out though? The camera that they pulled out, bro.
It was, oh man, that is the most, like, if they were to create a time capsule of 1988, that camera would have been there. It's like, who are those people? And the way Hakeem answers, like, someone I met in the bathroom.
Hakeem, you couldn't say anything.
You could have said anything.
Okay, what would he have said though?
Someone I met outside the bathroom.
But why? But no. But what? Why?
Someone I met at the concession stand. You gave him a big tip.
Like, I saved his life. He was choking.
Give him a big tip. Simple.
Something.
Because when you say he says it's the best day of his life, and you say you met him in the bathroom, a conversation needs to be had.
Patrice was like, "Ooh, that was quick."
Hey, it's like, hey, if that's how you get down, okay.
Get down, because Patrice is ready to party.
Yeah. All right. So now we're back at McDowell's.
Yeah.
And Lisa and Daryl are having a conversation. He's basically going along the lines of, I'll get you anything you want. She's like, no, that's not necessary. It's like, I'm getting you a coffee.
Yeah. Like, no.
Okay, that's what you decided to get. I'm like, okay, fine. So he gets up. It basically a means for him to get up so that Hakeem could come to the table. So he's mopping or sweeping or whatever, and he gets to the table, and Lisa tells him to join her real quick, like, just sit down.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the conversation, they're talking about Zamunda, how they have like what said he was part of the family business.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He was a goat herder. He's like, being a goat herder gives you a lot of time to read. So like the goats usually take care of themselves.
She believed.
Like, yeah,
I would have.
Yeah, like, she believed because she wanted to believe.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, all right.
Have a lot of time for themselves.
Yeah, no wonder we have so many well-read shepherds out there just winning on Jeopardy. No offense to the agricultural community. And then we get our Samuel L. Jackson cameo.
Yes.
And he comes in to rob the place with a shot. He's not even messing around.
He's not.
Shotgun pops off in the air, put all the money in the bag, and stop stalling. Don't be a hero. I don't want to hear any excuses. Put the money in the bag. So that's where you see, like,
and this is the part where I get crazy because I'm like, Hakeem, this is a gun we're talking about. This guy.
They had to show us. That's why we had that montage at the beginning.
It's a gun.
Showing us that he's nice with it. he's not just nice with it. He's proficient and he's fearless with it. And he already had the eye to eye like with Semi like.
Oh yeah,
when I give you that nod, it's about to go down.
Vaseline on his lips. He couldn't wait.
Right. So he steps on the mop, twists the handle out, and like he steps to him. He's like, "Yo, what do you like?" I'm going to need you to stop using obscenities at the people. I'm like, that was his first calling, like, no obscenities. And he's like, "What the are you talking about?" Like, all right, like it's not about to be friendly anymore. And as he use the handle to knock the gun out of his hand, sweeps the leg, the same thing he did to Semi in practice. And all of a sudden, like, he's holding the stick to his face and he tries to get tough. And then you just hear Semi cock the gun too. He's like, oh, yeah. And then he just like, okay. And then Cleo says, thanks a lot for that. That's the 5th time we've been robbed by that guy.
I guess he won't be coming back anymore thanks to my African connections. Okay, so back to Daryl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's cowering in the corner.
What a coward!
He's coward. I mean, is that really cowering? Like somebody with a shotgun. What are you going to do? Pour the coffee in his face?
Listen,
over McDowell's money.
Once I saw Akeem and Semi do their thing, I would have at least run to Lisa and be like, "Yo, you good?"
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Before
you're not preventing the robbery.
I could not risk my life for no McDowell's.
Okay, that's what I was trying to say.
He's so glow, but at the end, he just looks so like he was. I think he shit his pants.
He might have. It's possible.
Probably did something. That's
if he drank the coffee, then he definitely did.
I'm sure.
That's what I would say.
I'm sure. He did.
So we get my African connects.
Thanks
and
to
then
my
then Cleo says, "Keep your Sunday open. I want you down over at the house." And Hakeem is like, "You see, he sees us as equals."
This is the part where, again, first time watching it, I was like, "Oh, Hakeem's about to get his wife. Mr. McDowell's about to do something nice. He's gonna come over for dinner and treat them to dinner." This is strike 2. And then,
we cut to the house and they're dressed outside as valets.
I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I saved your store. Mm-hmm. I saved lives.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you repay me?
Yeah, he gave them another shift.
Sunday is open.
Mm-hmm.
And I should valet out your empire.
Yeah. He said, like, you saved our lives, you saved the business. How would you like to pick up another shift?
That's some BS.
That seems weird to you?
That's some BS.
Dang. Like I said, 1% is 1% everywhere. Remember that.
Yeah.
1% is 1% everywhere. So we get a little exposition about the family. We see Daryl's mom and dad and grandmother.
Granny.
I'm like, who just randomly invites the whole family to what is essentially a cookout or like a kickback? Not a cookout, a kickback.
It was a dinner party.
Yeah, with some champagne. And
Daryl set it up.
Yeah, he knew what he was going to do.
Daryl knew what he was going to do.
Yeah, but Cleo didn't know. So Cleo,
which is so crazy.
Hey,
but he was already good with the father because he was rich.
That's what I was saying. Like he had already convinced the father. That's why I said he hollered at the father first. Like, and he showed him the So Glow commercial.
Yes, it was the money.
That was it. Uh-huh.
It was the money. Mama Jenkins, Papa Jenkins. It was the money. It wasn't Daryl's personality.
Oh, but it was. And then we see the pastor. What was the pastor doing there again?
Because he's friends with Mr. Mc. He's a community leader. He knows the
Yeah, but what is a community leader doing there
at the dinner party?
Yeah, that's
you've never seen your pastor at a dinner party?
No dinner parties that I've thrown.
Then you need to.
In fairness, I don't think I've ever thrown a dinner party. So
there you go. You gotta, when you have a dinner party or something, or you're going to a community event. This, mind you, Mr. McDowell is also a community leader. He owns a restaurant in the family. He was at the Black pageant. They're raising money for education. They have Lisa there. He's also a community leader. So that's why the pastors, see, you got to understand the community, the Black community. He might have even had Reverend Al Sharpton there. You may never know.
maybe that's who that was supposed to be.
Now that you're saying it, look at the hair.
Yeah, see the hair? That's probably who that was supposed to be.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
All right. So then he goes to talk to him and tells him that he wants to marry Lisa. Doesn't propose. He just talks to the father straight up.
Word.
Just like I said, talks to the father. Doesn't talk to Lisa at all. And when they come out to make the announcement, like Daryl has said he wants to marry Lisa, and I have accepted. Like, wait, what?
And he said, and she has accepted.
No.
The father
it has been like the. Did he say she has accepted? Because that was a surprise to Lisa as well.
It was, but I'm saying when the father tells everyone.
Oh, that she has accepted.
Yeah. The father says like he's accepted, but he's like, oh, Daryl proposed to Lisa.
Yeah, and like yeah.
And look at Patrice. Patrice is like.
And Lisa's like, oh, good old patriarchy. Like, I was like, okay, this is
Lisa got it going on.
Yeah, I mean,
Lisa was mad. She's like, next time you and John to plan, plan my life. I wish you include me in it. With that little black and red outfit, yes, with the sky. Ooh, the fashion was fashioning and up in there in the 80s.
Then she storms out after that, and so Akeem comes out and he's like,
"This is his moment."
Yeah, Akeem comes out and it's like, Officer Champagne says she doesn't want any, and he tries to leave, and it's like, no, that he should sit down and keep her company.
This is where she starts. Her eyes starts glowing.
But then, like, yeah, he's not exactly sure how to use a swing because
he's never had to use a swing before.
He's like all tangled up in it a little bit, and he says he's uptight and like I can be loose and she's like, yeah, that's better. And they're talking about how she's not going to be pressured into marriage.
Yeah. And this is where
that's where they sort of have a little heart to heart. Akeem says he doesn't believe anyone should be pressured into marriage or out of obligation.
Yes.
And she asks if she overreacted. He said the first reaction is usually the best one. I'm like, okay. A little mind meld there. And then she says she feels like she can tell him anything. I'm like, okay, that's he's in.
Listen, he was in once he sat on that swing, and she said, "Come back." He was in. I said, "That's my girl, Lisa."
So he gets up to leave, and then Lisa tells him to be careful. I think my sister likes you.
He's like, damn. Yeah. At that point, he was like, I thought I was in.
Don't worry about that. So next we'll cut to the next morning, and Sammy doesn't want to go to work. Akeem is already dressed up. Sammy's like, yo, we're living like peasants. Like, bruh, I'm not going. So he knocks some things over. It's like, clean that up, and we're still going to work. Like, so no, it said fix this up, and we're going to work. So
fix it up, all right.
Mm-hmm. So we get to work. Louis Anderson is telling him how he started up on cleanup like them. Yeah, and then now he's washing lettuce.
Well, he's washing lettuce.
Yeah, soon he'll be on fries. And then after that, an assistant manager in a couple years. All right, so now Lisa is bearing her soul. It's like
wait, no.
Yeah, because they're
oh, you went back to the restaurant after Louis the lettuce.
They go out. They go out for a walk. And so they're going out they order food, and they're going back to his house. they're all going back to his house, and Semi says he goes there, he opens the door. Semi has, like he said, fixed up the place. Flat screen. Oh, what counts as a flat screen?
In that amount of time?
That's what happens when you get it ordered. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that goes to show how much money they really had.
Yeah, and that's why I said that's walking around money.
That is no chump change, my friend.
So remember, they did all that fixing up the apartment, and then he still sees a wad of money, and then he takes it, puts it in the paper bag, and he says, "You're taking my walking around money or my pocket money." That's the pocket money. Think about that. That's what I was talking about from the beginning. That wad of money was considered pocket money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so he puts it in the paper bag, and Lisa's like, "Oh, you don't want me to come in? Is it because your house is?" He's like, "Oh, that she wants to." That he said he was going to invite her over so that he can cook for her.
Yeah.
And he's like, he warns her that his home is very poor. So I'm like, what kind of description is that? Like, he doesn't even know the proper way to describe it.
No. He's
they'll
never
close the
seen
door.
it.
Yeah, and then so when he goes in, it's like an episode of Cribs in there. Semi has fixed everything up. It's like things that don't even need to be there, but are there just to show opulence.
It's like Pimp My Ride, right?
Yes, they pimped his apartment.
Pimped his apartment.
Yeah, so he closes the door. He says, "You have no money." He said, "You have no more money because no more money means no more mischief."
Yes.
So he put so Semi complains about not having pocket money, and so Lisa says, "If we can't go inside, why can't we go inside?" And he's like, "Because there's a huge rat." That was his excuse.
I was like,
Lisa's like, "I don't believe there's a rat. You're just really ashamed of your apartment." And Akeem takes advantage of that because he's like, yes, once again, you have judged me correctly.
Yes. And he's like, I will never forgive you. I will never forgive you, Semi, if you mess this up. But it's so sweet of Lisa. I feel like
she was being very understanding.
Didn't even care. Like, oh, you got first of all, you ain't cooking for me on first night. Let me stop with the head roll.
That's why I said it's very different from what's going on today.
Because
you're not bringing anybody over to your house for the first date. All that
first date, and a man is cooking for you. You're gonna think he's broke.
Like I said,
you're gonna think he's broke. And now look.
Yeah,
See,
I mean,
it wouldn't be a Coming to America too.
No, it definitely would not. So let's see. So talking about the family bin, the bill comes when they're at the restaurant. And
wait.
Go ahead.
No, okay, no. That part happens after Mortimer. Yeah.
So the bill comes. Akeem insists on paying, and Lisa's like, "No, you don't have to worry about being poor." I'm like, "Damn, he is laying that on." And then this is the next part. I was like, does she think she's being understanding when she says this?
Yes, she thinks
she's like, wait to the line. She's like, if I wanted a wealthy man, I would be with Daryl.
Akeem was just like, damn.
And he's like, okay. That's romantic. Okay.
Damn.
And then they get up and dance.
But I want to know, what was Akeem thinking? Like, was he gonna live in New York forever? Like, what was gonna happen if they actually connected? Like, will he eventually say, I'm a prince? Like,
he remember, in the middle of all this, he was 21 years old.
Oh yeah.
So he was essentially still a dumb kid.
He's still dumb. Yes, he's still a kid. He's still
like Lisa. We don't even know how old she was, but she was running shit. So
she might have been 21 too.
You think so?
That's why I thought when I grew up, I would be like that. It was not like
that.
Nah. Oh my gosh.
So while they're dancing, Lisa asks him, like, what about Patrice? And he says, and Akeem says he's not interested in Patrice.
I was like, oh.
And then Lisa asks him, but what about Daryl? He says, I'm not interested in Daryl either. Like, okay, well played.
That's your sister, though.
Huh?
I'm like, that's your sister. You know your sister. Just the other night, you said, I think my sister likes you, and now.
But we get some redemption after that. So, but then an hour and 20 minutes into the movie, they finally kiss. After that
is so pure.
Yeah. So it gets less pure right after this because now we're in Western Union.
No, you missed the part where he gives the money.
Oh yeah. Okay, so they're walking down the street.
They're from Trading Places.
Trading Places, yeah. They're Trading Places.
It's a continuation off of.
But it's the same director too.
Yeah, and that's why they're poor, because at the end of that movie, and then they're I'm not talking to you.
So
Mortimer, yeah.
So they're walking, I guess what's supposed to be a boardwalk or something like that, and they because it seemed like beachfront property. Was that like Coney Island or something? Or
I'm just like, how did they get there?
Cabs. It definitely wasn't Uber.
But he was walking home. Like, how does he even know where he is?
There are a lot of continuity issues with the transportation.
Yeah.
I'll get into the other one. So he drops off the bag of cash. No, the bag of cash dropping off happens before they get to the restaurant. Because
that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. So when they get to the restaurant, they knock on the window and say,
and
"Thank you. Lunch is on me."
Lunch.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Wow, you have such a great effect on people."
And then she references the people at the game that they went to.
Yes.
All right, so now we're at Western Union, and I'm like,
this is my mom's favorite part.
This is real old school. And Semi has a note, and the lady's like, "Are you sure this is what you want to send?" So she reads it out.
Read it to me.
To His Majesty King Joffrey Jaffer, the Royal Palace, Zamunda. Sire, Akeem and I have depleted our funds. Kindly send 300,000 American dollars immediately, as we are in dire straits. Your humble servant, Semi.
Simi.
Semi.
Should I make it 400,000?
You think that'd be enough?
You are right. 500,000.
As long as you're asking, why don't we go for a cool million?
You do not think that would be too much?
Nah.
Now we're back at Akeem's house.
Apartment.
Akeem walks in and Patrice is there.
Patrice is there. How did Patrice get inside there?
No. So Patrice walks in on she walks in there looking for Akeem.
Yeah.
So she sees Semi there. She's going there looking for Akeem.
How did she get there?
Man, she's a New Yorker.
I'm about to no. She got the records from her dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
that's an HR violation.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's an HR violation.
Hakeem working out there being creepy. That's creepy. Your boss shows up at your house.
Well, technically, so it would be less creepy if it was actually the boss. Your boss's random ass daughter showing up at your house. That's creepy.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. Oh, so Patrice shows up there and says, "How can you afford all this on your salary?" Basically saying, "I know how much you make. You can't."
Y'all selling coke.
Yeah. Like you can't afford all this. So Hakeem is walking home from the date,
and he's singing
loudly and poorly.
Someone to care. Someone.
And you just hear all these disembodied voices just yelling at him.
Shut
up! We're trying to sleep here. And then he eventually walks into the apartment and he interrupts Semi and Patrice while they're making out.
My girl likes to party all the time.
And then Patrice says, Semi told her everything, and that it won't work between him and her. So he already got the out right there, and then she kisses Semi and says, "Good night, sweet prince." And Akeem's like, "Wait, what?" And then Semi says, tells her, "You must never tell a soul." And says, "Their secret is safe with me, Your Highness."
I was like, man, Semi's a dog.
So Akeem asks Semi, like, "If you're the prince, then who am I?" And he says, "My servant." Like, okay. It's like the look he gave him was like, "You about to get it." So now we're back at McDowell's. Lisa and Cleo are talking about Daryl.
Yeah.
And like,
come on,
trying to give him, trying to talk him up. It's like, matter of fact, I'm about to go to the museum
I'm going on another date
with Hakeem.
You can see where the dad comes from. Like he just wanted. I knew you're gonna make a face. Like I said, I'm watching it from a 1988 hopeless romantic.
Hopeless romantic. You think that's romance? What the father is leaning her towards romance?
The father, listen.
He gives his answer right there, and it's not romance.
The father wants her to be okay.
He just doesn't want them to struggle. That's not necessarily
because he remembers. Did you watch Good Times?
Are you saying that's a continuation of this?
That got to be. JJ and them.
You did not say JJ. Oh my God.
He probably remembers what it was like in Good Times with Flo.
Oh my God.
And he was like, "I don't want you to suffer. I had to go to Canada to play football in the cold."
I don't think that was part of the Good Times backstory of going to Canada. That's just on him.
No, all jokes aside, I think he just wanted his daughter to be taken care of.
He wanted his daughter to let her soul glow. That's what it was.
Because he had money.
Yeah. He's trying to convince her that she should give Daryl a chance because he doesn't want her to struggle like him and her mom did. So now back at the apartment, Hakeem and Semi call the landlord back up.
Yeah.
And at this point, it looks like a typical like Wall Street bro, New York bachelor pad.
It looked nice.
Yeah, it looked like they had even like stepped it up since Patrice was over.
They did everything. I know they did. They went against their renters agreement because
Bruh,
what they did there.
You keep mentioning renters insurance. There's no renters agreement.
I know. If there was one, you know.
Yeah, like the landlord walked in and he's like, "Is this stuff hot? Like, is this all stolen? Like, what is this doing here?" So Hakeem says, "No, they want to switch apartments. That what do you have any? Basically, do you have any shitty apartments?" And the landlord says, "Yeah, you can switch. Yeah, you can move into my apartment. It's a real shithole." So
yeah, go switch your mind. 3B.
Yeah. No. He said 1A, first floor, first apartment. Yeah, 1A. This is fifth floor, and then cut to a police convoy with limousines pulling up.
Do.
Yeah.
Dun, do. Do you like this music now?
The funny thing about that is that song was one of the songs that was played in Drumline. When literally some of the music that was played in Drumline, that was one of the beats that they used. Yeah, that was one of the instrumentals that they used in Drumline. I'll see if I'm gonna try and see if I can get both of them side by side here, so that people can compare. And then we get Garcelle Bouvet moving out she's international now as a rose bearer.
Listen,
she's like
they all got their passports real quick.
Yeah. So
and then you see the flag, the Zamunda flag.
Bruh, international, let them know they have police escort and everything.
Everything.
So they knock on the door, and no. First they get to the barbershop. They go to the barbershop. Yeah, and he introduces himself. He's like, "I'm looking for my son," and then the white guy says, "Kunta." I'm like, "Come on now." Like we got him saying it now. Like we got like.
No, Kunta.
That just goes over King Joffrey's head because what is he supposed to know about Roots?
He just knows nothing.
Considering the guy who was in Roots is actually in the show, John Amos.
He knows nothing. There's a lot of
So I'll even get to that in the trivia. So they say, "Oh yeah, he lives upstairs on the 5th floor." So he gets upstairs to where to where the landlord is. And he knocks on the door and says, "It's open. Like, come in." So he walks in.
He said, "You may enter."
You may enter. Yeah, you may enter. Because he's living large now. He's sitting in that yeah, smoking a cigar and everything. Says, "Yeah, I'm King Joffrey Jofa. I'm looking for my son." And he's like, "Oh yeah, he moved down to 1A." And then he sees something on the wall. It's like, "What that?" It's like, "It's a picture." I'm like, "Bro, I know it's a picture. What do you mean? What is it?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, it's an employee of the month picture on the wall." Like, bro, how long have you been working there that you're already an employee of the month?
And no, his was expedited due to the Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, once you stop a robbery, I guess
you employee of the year.
Yeah. So and that's where my son works.
My son works.
And like,
they all go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So now
in his vocabulary.
So we get down to 1A.
Oh.
Knocks. And Semi opens the door, screams, and closes the door.
Closes
the door, and then he opens it back up and greets them. And then King asks Semi, like, how could you let things get so bad, Semi? You have disappointed us, and you must be punished. You have to confine yourself to our suite in the Waldorf Astoria, and make sure he puts on decent attire. And I want you to bathe him thoroughly. Like, they have a real big thing on bathing. And he says, "Thank you, Your Majesty."
He's like,
and then he tries to snap out of it, but he's like, "Yeah, your intentions are already known."
And then he looks at the rose bearer like,
He's like,
it's about to go down.
Everybody knows what's up. So now we're back at the museum with
Lisa and
Hakeem, and they're like, looking at artwork, and then they're asking, "Oh, tell me about Zamunda." And it's like, "Oh, the most beautiful place on earth." And they would treat you like a queen. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of an Easter egg there. And as they're walking, Akeem spots a picture of his family on the wall.
On the
Because
wall.
apparently, what are the odds that there's a Zamunda exhibit?
Who would have that?
Which means, I guess it was common knowledge. It wasn't like it was a place that people knew.
But a picture of the current king, queen, and son on his 21st birthday.
But is that where that was from?
Come on, look at the costume. Unless that's their national costume, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that could just be a regular dinner party.
But
because no matter what official thing happens, the father is sitting down, the mother standing to one side.
But it was definitely a recent photo.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's a museum.
But back then, do you think pictures could have traveled that far in 40 days? Because they're not emailing it, so the picture had to be taken, printed, mailed, and then blown up and then put on the wall.
That was a coin. Like, no, they could have made Akeem look younger, or something. It's too it looked like how he looked when he stepped off the plane.
Hey,
they didn't even try.
I mean, we weren't supposed to see the picture for too long anyway.
Yeah.
So in order to distract Lisa, he pushes her against the wall and kisses her, and she's like, "They're going to see." He's like, "Let them." I'm like, "Oh snap!"
I was like, "Okay."
I was like, "Oh, okay." I came like
in a building.
Okay. Then people see us and then let them.
And then he just drags her.
Yeah, he just drags her, make sure she doesn't look back at all. And now we have the convoy crossing the bridge.
Do.
Yeah, they are moving. So now I guess they came to McDowell's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get to McDowell. So we're at McDowell's. We see Cleo in the office and he's reading
McDonald's operation manual.
Yeah, he's like reading the operating manual. And then Louis Anderson comes out and said, "There's somebody here to see." He's like, "I hope it's not the folks from McDonald's."
He closes that.
Yeah. Like, no, it's like, no, I don't believe they are.
I don't believe they are, sir.
And then they go out, and then King introduces himself, said he's looking for his son. And Cleo says, "I knew there was something special about that boy." Says he's out with my lovely daughter Lisa.
Oh yeah.
The king says he'll be at the Waldorf Astoria, and Cleo asks if he should let them know he's looking for them. He's like, "No, do not alert them to my presence. I shall deal with them myself." And that's a callback from one of Darth Vader's lines in Star Wars. And funny enough, like one of his generals in Star Wars actually alerted the people to his presence, so he killed that general. It's like,
so going back to the movie, they had the flag of Zamunda at the Waldorf Astoria
because they have a permanent suite there.
That is a country.
They have a permanent suite there. Like,
can you imagine?
I guess they probably fly the flag only when the king is there, though. I feel.
My thing is, and Hakeem, you've never left Zamunda to travel the world as a prince.
But that's why he said he wanted to come to New York in the first place.
And I feel like the dad has been to New York.
The dad has been all over. He's been slinging from east to west. Yeah, the dad is not shy at all.
No,
he's not shy at all.
No.
So when they're leaving, Oha slips him a $100 bill. Says, "For your trouble," and it's a note that has Akeem's picture on it.
Oh my gosh.
Cleo loses his shit there. He's like, "Oh wow."
He's like, the boy's got his own money.
So now Akeem and Lisa get back to the apartment and they see flowers on the sidewalk.
I was like, man.
Yeah, he already knows what that means.
I was like, you know what's up. Go just.
He tells Lisa they cannot go in because I guess he believed the parents were inside at the moment. No, I don't think they could have been because the car would have been outside.
But he's not at that point. He's scared.
Yeah, he's just like, no. Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't care. I'm not even about to do it now.
And then Lisa's like, no, why can't we go up? And she's like, no, he's trying to give excuses like, oh no, I don't want us to rush. Lisa's like, no, I want to go up.
I want to go up there. I don't care about a rat now.
Bro, it's like, damn, girl, you thirsty as hell. Like, no, let's go to your house. She's like, no. He's like, I want us to take it slow. It's like, no. Whatever we're here to do, we have to go.
We need to complete it, my friend.
Oh my goodness. So they eventually agreed to go.
He already jogged her. He got her going at the museum. That kiss.
Yeah, that against the wall. Yeah.
He was like, "Ooh."
Okay. So Lisa and Akeem eventually get to the McDowell house, and Lisa's dad is acting unusually hospitable.
Yes.
And tells Hakeem, no, don't worry, sit down, make yourself comfortable. And then Cleo leaves the room and calls the Waldorf Astoria to alert the king that they're here. And then here's the doorbell ring. I'm like, okay, this is not believable if they just show up so quickly.
Right. Yeah.
But it's Daryl that's at the door.
Because he invited Daryl to come by.
And Cleo shuts the door in his face. And then he goes back to the living room. And then Daryl rings the doorbell again. And Cleo runs back to the door, but he slips on the steps. He's like, but Daryl reminds him that you're the one that invited me over. Like, close the door in his face again. Rang the door one more time, and when he opened the door, he sicked the dog on him.
Dottie,
and he's smashing flowers on the dog. They close the door. It's like, whatever happened between y'all, that's on y'all. So now Lisa is like questioning her dad, like, why are you being so nice all of a sudden? It's like, oh yeah, I like the boy. Like, doesn't a man have the right to change his mind? So it's like, you guys would make a beautiful couple. I'm like,
Daddy,
like something is going on here. So eventually he's like, he's a fine young man, Lisa. And then it's like, come on, it's like, okay, fine, he's rich. He got his own money. And when I tell you he got his own money, he got his own money.
He got his own money.
Lisa, the money has his face on it. Like, oh my goodness.
He makes Daryl looks like a
he makes Daryl look like a welfare case. Oh my goodness. Like, Lisa, you did it this time. You hit the jackpot.
You hit the jackpot.
So now that
and then Patrice.
But at this point, Hakeem is out. He's like, nah. And suddenly, like, it gets real dramatic because as soon as he leaves, it starts raining, and Lisa's looking out the window like it's a Kelly Rowland and Nelly video. Like, she's just staring out the window with the rain. So let me see. Then, so on the way back, I guess Hakeem is heading towards the Waldorf. And even back in the 80s, New York traffic was very crazy. Like, they literally had to have dropped all those cars off by helicopter or something, because there's no way for any of those cars to move, even if they wanted to.
No, it was bumper to bumper. Everybody been bumper to
bumper. So he gets out, pays the cab, and walks into the Waldorf, and we see Semi getting bathed. He's like, yeah, and he's just thrilled.
Semi's thrilled. Hakeem, I felt bad for him. I'm like, man.
Semi's thrilled. Hakeem not so much. And then when he gets there, then the royal convoy shows up at the McDowell house, and he opens the door. Cleo greets them, and he's shaking the queen's hand. He's like, I don't know if to shake your hand, kiss it, or bow. He's like, I feel like breakdancing. Oh my God, he's just going through it.
He is happy.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, where's your daughter? So Lisa's in her bedroom,
which looks like a teenage bedroom.
Yeah, it looks so, I don't want to call it juvenile, but it looks like a young person's room.
You're like 20. We don't even know how old you are at this point. Hakeem didn't even ask.
Yeah,
of age.
I would assume she's
at 21, bro.
But that's
the 80s. That's the 80s. That's 80s.
Yeah, it's youth and cocaine. That's the 80s. So the king tells Lisa that Hakeem cannot be serious about her because he has a wife to go back to in Zamunda, and that he came to America to sow his royal oath. I was like, damn.
I was like, Daddy,
you could have relayed that so like in so many different ways.
You know who he is?
So
he's
Cleo asked
Zamunda.
Yeah. So Cleo asked the king like what he said to upset Lisa, and the king said that he told Lisa that Hakeem cannot consort with such a girl. And Cleo was like, okay, like what are we talking about here? Like, yo, don't talk about my
baby girl like that.
He was ready to throw hands, and King tells Cleo, like, you've obviously been inconvenienced. Let me compensate you. Is 1 million okay? Cleo says no. He's like, okay, 2 million. And his wife says, he tells him to apologize. And he says he won't because this man and his daughter are beneath him. And then at this point, I was like, okay, at least Cleo got some balls because he ripped up the check. He said, I don't care who you are. This is America, Jack. You say one more word about Lisa and I'll break my foot off in your royal ass. I was like,
I was
okay.
like, boom, boom,
I'm
boom.
like, okay, all right. And then everyone is shocked. Like everyone's like, wait, did he just
Did he just talk at the king, Joffrey Zamunda?
And then Patrice walks out and it's like, what is everyone yelling about? And they tell her that the prince is in love with Lisa and the king cannot handle it. And Patrice says, no, he's not. The prince is in love with her. And as she says that, Hakeem and Semi walk in. And Patrice asks,
it's like, why are you hugging him?
Why are you hugging him? Like he's just a servant.
Yo.
And then she points at Semi like, he's the prince. And the king says, who told you that? And we don't get an answer. Everyone in the room just looks at Semi. And he's like trying to back away, but he's like, nah, you can't avoid
like, how come she always gets the good ones?
Yeah, when it dawned on her that Hakeem is the prince. Yeah. So Hakeem asks where Lisa is and can we talk? It doesn't matter. He must return to Zamunda at once. Hakeem tells his mom that Lisa is the love of his life. And the king says, I forbid you. And the queen says, put a sock in it, Joffrey. The boy's in love. But Lisa running out of the house irresponsibly in the rain.
Is that what you wrote in your notes?
Yes, irresponsibly. Like just run, because she's already gone. So now we just see her on like a random block, just running. No umbrella, no hood, just running.
No, she puts on her hood.
I mean, but it's like the rain is shooting like towards her. So the hood is not doing anything. Like you just run in the opposite direction.
It just ran.
Like, what are you doing? They hadn't gotten to the subway yet. So this is where we see what's his name? Soul Glow.
Oh, Daryl.
Daryl shows up at, I guess, is that Patrice's window? Or it's like French doors that lead to the outside.
He's at the back.
Yeah, but it was a bedroom. No, it was a bedroom though.
But it could have been like one of those like guest rooms.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really big house.
It can't be on the second floor.
Yeah, it was a really big house. So they could have like so many spare bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So Daryl tells Patrice that Lisa dumped him, and she said, "I know," and said the first thing we need to do is get you out of these wet clothes. And Daryl breaks the fourth wall too, and he stares at the camera too. He's like, "Y'all see this, right? Like y'all know what's about to happen." And then by movie magic, Hakeem is driving on a street, and it's the exact same street that Lisa is running through to get to the subway.
How convenient.
Yeah, that's movie magic.
Movie magic.
He calls out to her as she's going down the stairs to the subway station. And then we see some like old school subway turnstiles. Like the technology involved is so minimal. You just drop in a token and Hakeem, he jumps the turnstile. And I'm like, if that was today, like he would have been tackled by like 12 different NYPD officers.
Yeah.
And been forced to pay a $300 ticket over
jumping. Yep.
Yeah, not political. That's just an observation. So they get on the subway and they're talking about him. And Lisa's like, well, I guess I know who gave me these earrings. And like earlier, they mentioned that those were like $500,000 earrings.
Yeah, and that's what Patrice was like. Who'd you get? The card read, enjoy these earrings. It's not
not Daryl.
And then he's like, you giving up a little booty. What you doing, sis?
Mm-hmm. I don't think
she's wearing them too. Like you don't know who got you them, and you're
wearing
them.
She doesn't know. She doesn't really know how expensive they are. That's the thing. Because I don't think she would wear them if she knew how. But again, she lived in Queens. You're getting mugged, okay?
Right off the bat.
Yeah, we've seen how they operate in that, and this is not even stereotyping. We've seen how they operate in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they're on the train, and they're walking through multiple train cars. Hakeem said he loves her, and he came to America to find a bride. And Lisa says, "Your father told me you came to America to sow your royal oats." He says, "Why didn't you just tell me you were a prince?" And he says, "It shouldn't matter that I'm a prince." And it says, "If you can tell me that you didn't love me when you thought I was a goat herder, I'll walk away right now."
That's like, she doesn't fall in love that quick.
Hey, they're 21. So he says that he'll renounce his throne right now, if so that they can be together. And she's like, and he says it very dramatically. Yes. From now on, I renounce the throne.
Renounce my throne.
She says, "No, I can't let you do that." That she doesn't.
I'm like, bro, you already renounced it.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't care about the throne. He only cares about her, and he asks her to marry him. And then throughout this entire part, it was just like a typical New York subway. Like nobody's paying them any mind. But at this point, one of the other writers asked, he's like, he's no longer minding. He's been like, go on, honey, take a chance. I'm like, what?
Take a chance, honey. Take a chance.
And I feel like I've seen her in another movie.
You probably have.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen her in another movie. And Lisa is like, no, I can't. And so the train stops and she says, sorry, I can't. She gets off the train. And then an old lady says, if you're really a prince, I'll marry you. And then he hands her the earrings.
Oh.
And she gives him a look that I interpreted as, if this was 40 years earlier and she was 40 years younger, she would have shown him things that do not exist in the English language. Because the look that she, it's like hearing that he's a prince plus those earrings. They would have had to peel her off him with a skillet. That's what I'm saying.
It would have been over with.
Oh my goodness. Over is an understatement. So now we're back at the Waldorf Astoria. And I'm like, it's funny seeing, like, back then this was seen as the pinnacle of opulence in New York. That's the Waldorf. Nothing was beyond this. The limousines are parked outside. Semi and Akeem are in a car together, and they're about to go back. And Semi says, "Look at this. Look at it this way. At least we learned how to make French fries."
Shut up! I'm like, Semi, it's your fault,
bruh. I'm like, that's not a silver lining here.
I'm like, Semi, it is your fault why we're in this situation. It is your fault.
Semi is ready to go. Okay.
Semi, you sent a SOS. That's what you did.
Bruh, Semi is ready to go.
We've depleted our funds.
No, but the funny thing is, I believe they sent the money anyway, and then they showed up, because that's probably how they were able to buy the hot tub. Think about it. Like, they took away all the pocket money after the first improvement to the apartment, and then he bought.
Yeah. Like, wow. So y'all just got $1 million just laying around there like that.
Man, he was about to write a check for $2 million too. Yeah. So the king mentioned how his wife hasn't been talking to him, and he says the girl told him. He's like, of course not. With the way you treated her, yeah, of course. I hope you blame her. So the king says, even if she says yes, they still couldn't marry because it's against tradition. And the queen says it's a stupid tradition. The king says, who am I to change it? And the next thing that comes out, I said, every married man can relate to this.
Okay.
And she says, with, like, based on her tone, her facial expression, intonation, everything, and she says, well, I thought you were the king.
That's
I was like, and both me and the king were just speechless, like, huh. And then the rose bearer that was in the front seat that was eavesdropping, she just turned around.
No, she's not the rose bearer. She's the queen's right hand. No,
that was because the right hand is the one that Semi was talking to when they were.
No, the right hand doesn't talk. The queen's right hand never speaks.
Yeah, but that's not her, because that one was wearing brown. That one was wearing brown. This one was wearing red with the other rose bearers.
Oh, really? That was a rose bearer in the limousine?
Mm-hmm. Because remember, they have to get out. Like, they have to get out and put petals on the floor for them.
Oh my!
They're not in a different car.
I gotta watch this movie again because I really thought it was a queen's handmaiden.
No, that one she wears brown. That's who Semi is talking to later on.
Her outfit,
but she doesn't speak at all.
The whole movie.
Yeah, she doesn't speak at all.
I would have loved to be in that role.
We see her at the beginning and at the end.
I would have loved to be in that role.
So now we're back in Zamunda, and they're at the wedding, and we can see the king and queen, and Akeem is standing at the altar, and
Akeem looks so.
We see someone walking up in a light pink dress, because it said,
"You're not doing any justice to the gown."
I'm getting to it. Trust me.
You just a light pink dress.
Just I'm getting to the color first.
I need you to.
Yeah. So So she's walking up in a light pink dress, and it's the largest wedding dress I've ever seen. It's literally the size of the apartment they were staying in. It spans the entire. It spans the length of the hall.
It's cotton candy.
It spans the length of the hall. It was bigger than the apartment they were in, and that apartment had a hot tub in it. Okay.
I don't know who put it on her for that movie. Forget. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. And the veil.
Yeah. So at that point, before they take off the veil, we can kind of see who it is, but Akeem has no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I could see. I guess because I already know how it ended, but I could see her face already.
You gotta watch it like
I'm looking.
8-year-old you.
I did not watch that. I went, oh, I think, yeah, actually might have been 8 a year. Wow.
That movie, I know I watched it when I was like 5, 6, and then like
yeah, it might have been
every year after that, every month for some. At one point, it was every Friday I was watching the movie.
So we pull up. Hakeem pulls up the veil, and he sees
okay.
it's Lisa.
It's like,
And he's surprised. He's smiling. He smiles at her. He looks at his parents. They're smiling too. And then Cleo shows up out of nowhere.
Where was Patrice?
She was with Daryl, I'm sure.
But then, could you ain't come to your sister's wedding?
Like I said, Patrice was on some other stuff.
Okay, and you know, I like the end.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Do 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 do.
Then we see Sammy. Sammy is talking to the queen's right hand, saying something in her ear, and she gives him a double take. Like, what did you just say? Like, yeah, he must have said something raunchy for her because she tries to ignore it the first time, and then she looks like, wait, what? You want to do
that
what?
I did? Yep.
She's like, yeah.
I can show you some cool tricks. Make you talk.
Then, so he asked Lisa. Lisa asks, "Oh, would you have really given all this up for me?" And he says, "Yes." It's like, if you like, I can give it all up right now.
She's
and
like,
then Lisa looks around, it's like, nah.
Nah.
And then roll credits. All right. Let's get into some trivia. So this is the first time Eddie Murphy played multiple characters in the same film. He was inspired by Peter Sellers, who did the same thing in Dr. Strangelove. And this would become a trademark for Murphy.
He thought he would do it in Norbit. And what's the other one?
Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor.
Yeah. Let's see. Yep. So most of the dance performed by the Royal Dancers is a high tempo rendition of the dance from Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy demands $1,500 a week for his personal trainer, round-the-clock chauffeur service, a valet, and $1,000 a week for his brother to appear as his stand-in. So the scenes where the scenes where you just see them talking to him from behind, they like where so he's like, I'm not going to be on set for those. So, but I'm putting in my contract that you have to pay my brother $1,000 a week to show up. Vanessa Williams was originally considered for the role of Lisa McDowell. In 1988, Vanessa Williams?
No, I know. No, I'm not knocking her, but I really like Lisa. I felt like Vanessa Williams could do it, but there's a little bit of, I think I'm tainted by her in Soul Food. Like her attitude there.
Oh, okay. So Lisa is just nice enough for the role, you think?
Oh yeah. Did you watch All My Children?
I did not watch a second of All My Children. What are you talking about?
Was it Lucci, Erica Kane? Okay. All right. Yeah. Lisa's sweet.
All right, let's see. Sidney Poitier was originally considered for the role of King Jaffe Joffa.
And that wouldn't have fly. No.
Yeah. Let's see.
He was on Mount Rushmore.
When James Earl Jones was approached for the movie, he originally wanted to play the part of Cleo McDowell. The writers were asked to convince him to play the king instead. When Jones read the script, he said they didn't understand much of Africa, but they did understand a lot about Queens, so he agreed. Director John Landis originally wanted Harry Belafonte for the role of McDowell.
Really?
But the writers convinced him that the character needed to be uniquely American, so John Amos was cast instead.
Okay, because I was going to say, how is that going to play out?
Contrary to the popular belief at the time that romantic comedies with a predominantly Black cast didn't do well domestically or overseas, it was Paramount's biggest hit that year, and it was also the first hit in Japan featuring a Black antagonist. Wow. Yeah. So see, Coming to America, it broke barriers. I would say if there was a Mount Rushmore of Black movies,
it
Coming
takes
America,
number one spot.
I think Coming to America, if there was a Mount Rushmore, please don't, in the reviews, you know what, in the reviews, you leave your Mount Rushmore of Black movies. Your Mount Rushmore of Black
America's
movies.
not on it, we're going to get you.
Oh, I did not make that threat, for the record. I did not make that threat.
We're going to get you.
Okay, nah.
Coming to America. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So that was as it was, even I think it was actually better than I remembered, because a lot of the things went over my head the first time, like when watching it when you're younger.
A few times.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you miss.
Whole stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
You basically missed the whole movie.
Yeah.
As you get older, you watch it, but if you're still watching it with my lens, still things will still go over your head.
Yeah. All right. So I think normally this is the part where we do or where the guest does their Mount Rushmore of Black Hollywood.
Please don't.
But no, but Jen has done hers. So click the link up there to see where Jen left her Black Mount Rushmore.
You know, since you started doing this Black film, I said study, right? So we started talking about Black films and started like going and looking at different Black films. We started watching them at work. There's no kids there. There's no kids there. It's just us adults. We talked about like, where were you when certain movies were played? Like, how old are you? How old were you? Deep cuts. Like, we were talking about movies that, like, damn, I forgot that they made those. Major Pain and
Major Pain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then I was telling them Tubi. If you guys don't know Tubi is a place where you can get a lot of Black films. Training Day's on there.
Is it?
Drumline is on there. Drumline, I think, is also on Hulu, but I've watched I watched Training Day on Tubi.
Where did I watch Drumline?
No, just because you started doing this Black theater, I'm like, okay, let me go back and watch some of it. Tubi, you guys, is one of the platforms where you can get a lot of the Black films.
Yeah, I think my wife did the same thing, but she's not going to give me credit for it. She's going to say she did it spontaneously.
She did.
Well, I'm like yesterday you were watching Waist Deep. Like that is not something you do spontaneously, okay? There has to be something that incites you to go watch Tyrese and Lorenz Tate, okay? It's not.
And we talked about Waist Deep too, like me and my coworkers. Yeah, I mean, Tubi is where, at least for now, you better get it in while you can. But Tubi is a place, because Netflix, they don't have that many Black films on Netflix.
Yeah, a lot of them.
They're definitely expanding their international films.
Yeah, they've a lot of Black films have sort of their licensing agreement has sort of lapsed for a lot of them, because even Training Day was on Netflix for a while.
It was on Netflix for a while, and then now it's no longer there, so you can watch it on Tubi. And then Hulu has a lot of the Black sitcoms.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I mean, Netflix is putting up the Black sitcoms. You see Martin on there, Jamie Foxx, but Hulu also has a lot of the 227, Good Times. So, but Tubi is your one-stop shop for everything. Definitely go and see that.
So before we go, let me give some of the recommendations that we've gotten so far to do. Set It Off, Waiting to Best Man, The Woods.
Can you just I just watched The Best Man last week. Like I told you, I like to rewatch movies because the new ones, they suck.
Oh wow.
The Best Man, me watching it now in today's age,
it makes more sense to you now. Yeah. Things are a lot more messed up than you thought they were before.
And then if you watch The Best Man, you watch The Best Man Holiday, and you watch the one that they did the series, it all comes together. I say watch that all at once. Okay, next. Okay, what else is on your list?
Love and Basketball. Stomp the Yard.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, once we did Drumline, Stomp the Yard came in.
Then you might as well just do You Got Served.
And You Got Served was the next one.
Okay.
American Gangster, that was some Denzel Love, Malcolm X. Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Okay. That's Martin Lawrence, and she always plays a very well-to-do.
Lynn Whitfield?
Yes, Lynn Whitfield, yes. Always well-to-do. You ain't never gonna see her broke.
Freedom Writers and Hidden Figures.
I feel like you need to, I would be interested to see what your viewers think about what is considered a Black film and what is considered a classic.
Maybe again, in the comment section, wherever you're watching this, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever, leave a review where give us your definition of what a Black movie is, or what your definition of a classic Black movie is.
And give an example.
And give an example.
An example.
So that will help us decide what we're going to do next.
Yeah, send us popcorn so we can watch these movies too.
Yes, Jen said send popcorn.
You know what would be cool?
What's that?
I know they already do this because I saw this in New York. Dinner at the movies. where they actually serve the cuisine from the movie that you're watching. You ever seen that? It's up
No.
north. It's up by you guys.
Really? Are you talking about in the theater or?
Yeah, in the theater. I saw it.
So you mean like the dine-in theater?
Was it called? Yeah, but it's like, it's called something Dine Cinema. I looked it up.
AMC has a lot of them.
No, not AMC.
Oh, not that?
They show old movies. They're not gonna I saw, Little Mermaid. So they had Little Mermaid or Ratatouille. Oh my god. Oh,
and it's not a drive-through?
No.
Or not a drive-in movie theater?
No. Oh my gosh. It's like they have a whole, you pay $100 or something. It comes with drinks.
It better come with drinks for $100. So what did you say it's called?
Fork and Film.
Fork and Film.
But like N.
And
so
Fork and
Film. Yeah.
Okay.
Get tickets. I'm going to click on New York. That's the closest. Ratatouille, September 2024. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Do you know how much food they had on that movie?
Oh wait. So they're offering food that was made in the movie?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Oh.
So like food that was made in the movie.
Oh.
So you can take your wife to, what month are we in? Oh, August is coming up. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball, and then Ratatouille is going to be in September. All right. So look at this. The general admission is, let's say, $185
for one person.
Man, you got to pay the same amount if you vegan. Sorry.
That is for one person?
Yeah. And then if you want front row, it's $205. Then VIP, I would do it. I would pay $180 to go and experience that. You want to know why? Because I like food.
Wait, hold on. My wife is actually here. Kitchi, would you go to what's called what did you call it?
Fork and Film.
Fork and Film, where you eat the food that's inspired by the film. Like when you're at the theater, they serve food that's inspired by the film. So in Ratatouille, it's French cuisine.
It says
you've never heard of it. That's what I'm hearing about it right now. I'm gonna have to bleep all of that out until they send us some endorsement.
Yeah, you gotta bleep all that part out.
No free promo. No free promo.
But that's something I feel like, I don't know what the menu would look like. You can go on TikTok and see some people who have been there. Like it's like and it's not even.
You said the ticket is $185.
Yeah, but think about it. You go by yourself. I'm not saying. It's a lot.
My wife has already heard about it, so we're probably going.
Yeah, it's a lot of food. It does, like this one video. They just kept bringing out food after food.
I know it's a lot of food.
It's just like one of those. You're just gonna have to eat ramen noodles for like 2 nights. Like they have a whole menu, and it's an 8-course meal.
8 course?
Yes.
Oh, you should have started with that. Okay. Yeah, now it makes more sense. Okay.
They have like drinks and food. This is Ratatouille.
Okay. So now it's okay.
It's not just one. I wouldn't pay for one meal.
Okay. Now
I'm talking.
Okay. Now we're on to something. Okay.
Yeah, it's an 8-course meal, and it comes with drinks.
Okay. They
I don't
already
know
had me
what drinks they're gonna give you, but
it doesn't matter what drinks, as long as it's going.
Like, they even had Shrek. Shrek was a 9-course meal.
What food? I don't know if I want to eat food inspired by Shrek.
No, isn't, but gingerbread houses, ogre butter, like.
Why are you so excited over there? What is going on
here?
there?
Willy Wonka.
No, okay, that's doing too much.
I wouldn't want Willy Wonka. I would want like
9 courses of Willy Wonka. All right, so we've gotten a movie review, recommendation, and even some dating advice. WAP at the Movies is here for you.
The Well Actually podcast, WAP at the Movies, coming to America. Great film. Here's a bit of a dating advice. Don't take it to your apartment on the first day and cook for her. Child, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work in 2024. It might have worked in 1988. It might have worked when Denzel was dating Paulette back then, remember? All jokes aside, you'll enjoy this podcast. And Drumline. Make sure you watch Drumline and Training Day. And put your comments in the box, the review. What do you consider a classic film or a Black film that's just for entertainment purposes?
Okay. See, our listeners, viewers, you have your assignment.
You have, yes, from the teacher, instructional coach right here.
There you go.
There you
All
go.
right. Thank you for listening to the Well Actually podcast, WAP at the Movies, where we did Coming to America. We're going to try and do this again sometime soon. Thank you very much.